So we all know about World of Warcraft, and maybe some of you have also heard of Ultima Online or EverQuest, but even before those, there were text-based MMOs called MODs, which is short for multi-user dungeon. I'm not exactly sure when the first ones were around, but I first played them in mid to late 90s. One of my friends was playing it, and he also had a friend who was playing it. Now, his friend was kind of a jerk. He killed my character when we were playing, which is pretty messed up. And he knew who I was too, but it's pretty crazy. But anyway, so back to talking about the MUD itself. But I mean, part of the MUD is like human interaction, MMO. And I've never really played like MMOs like what they are today. Like I've done single player a few times, like very briefly in different MMOs, like Terra Online I tried. I don't remember. I not like tried like one or two more, like just very briefly, but again, I didn't play with anyone. I didn't talk to anyone, so I was basically just playing a single player game. Whereas when I played mods, I often did get in groups with other people. Now they weren't as big as like MMOs. MMO stands for massively multiplayer online, whereas this is usually there's only like a handful of people, maybe like 10 to 20 online at most. And some are even like some mods are even smaller, like. And the first one I played was called Major Mud, and you actually had to pay for a subscription, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I know like with WoW you had to pay, and EverQuest you had to pay, but those are like next gen with graphics, where these are just text-based MUDs. But, I mean, it was really addicting, believe it or not. So, yeah, Major Mud was like my first big experience, and the way it worked is there was someone who lived in our city. I don't know the exact technical way to this setup, but everyone who played like lived in the same city, and you used a dial-up modem to call in. There was actually this meetup group with the people who played. Like I was never like close friends with any of them. Like I enjoyed getting into groups and stuff, but I'm not a very social person. I don't know, I like playing sports when I was younger, before I had health issues, and I like playing like team sports, so like I like that. So it's kind of like playing sports, but I wasn't like super social, like just talking to people. I have autism, and yeah, so like some of my first experiences, I wasn't really big on roleplay, and I've never like, I guess like as I've gotten older, now that a few decades since then, I've kind of been more into roleplay in games. I'm still more into gameplay, but yeah, I just named my first character Drizzt, or I guess Drizzt. There's a correct pronunciation, but it's from like these fantasy novels, Dungeons and Dragons, and if you played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, you can unlock Drizzt as a kit playable character. Spoilers. It's like a kind of like a ARPG like Diablo, the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance games. They're kind of expensive on Steam, but I mean you can emulate them. I've heard. I've never done that myself. Wink, wink. But anyway, yeah. So aside from like getting killed by a friend of a friend, it was pretty enjoyable. I have like this one early memory. There's like me and a group of like 3 or 4 other people when we went to this like crypt. And like the enemy, in some games like the enemies I don't think move around as much or respawn as much, but this one, like we went to this room and like enemy, like the skeletons or whatever, or ghouls or whatever they were, like they just kept coming to the room. It was like 5 or 10 minutes we're just standing in like one or two rooms like fighting them off. They just kept coming. That's what she said. Anyway, I'll be here all night, guys. When I got to college, I kind of stopped playing MUDs, and interestingly, like the 3 of us, we all were roommates, and I guess this is the time to explain I'm transgender. Why we're all rooming together in the dorms, me and 2 other guys, but yeah, we were like, I mean, he was like mostly cool with me, like he didn't do anything like overtly weird, but later on, like he tried to steal my girlfriend, and like also there's these two girls he was friends with, and like I was kind of interested in them before I started dating my girlfriend, and I'm pretty sure he like said some things to them or like, yeah, it's kind of messed up. And I guess I'll just say this also, since I mentioned this part, the Major Mud, it was the people who were running here with these husband and wife. There was like scripting in the game, like you could script I'm pretty sure it was like against the rules from what I remember, but the guy who ran it, he like scripted at night, and he had like this warrior who like went around to this high level area. And my friend, he played a thief, and at night, after when that guy was with the like admin or whatever you all call him, he was like farming and scripting at night. My friend played a thief and would just like steal his gold. So it's pretty funny. Oh yeah, the other thing is like my friend, like he let his friend, the guy who killed me, he let him like play his character, and I think he like, I forget if he like killed me with my friend's character, or he like just stole my gold with my friend's character, or I don't know. I don't know if he's scripting or not or whatever, but anyway, so I got to college, I stopped playing the MUDs and tried to live a normie life, which sort of worked out until I had chronic health issues, but I have other videos on channel talking about my life. Like I don't do a lot of gaming, like I do like vlogs and video essays, but so if you want to hear more about my life, you can check those out. But then after college, there's also this other mod I played before college, just a little bit. I don't remember the name. It had like a bigger player count, I think. Like I think there's like anywhere from like upwards of like 30 to 50 people online, or that's at peak hours. I don't remember. It's been so long, I don't remember. And actually, that's the MUD my friend and his friend played in college. They like moved on to that MUD, but I don't remember the name. I just remember there's like 2 different factions, like the light and the dark side, depending on which race you chose. And I guess there's like PvP and stuff. Now the MUD I played after college, PvP was optional. And for the most part, I didn't play PvP. I just find that really stressful. Maybe I'll do a separate video that's just gameplay, but this video is more just talking about it. So this like second MUD is the one I like played the most and I have like the best memories of. I mean, the main thing that like really got me interested, like I said before, I'm more to gameplay than roleplay. But there's like, I don't know, like 20 or 30 races, or some of the races you have to like get to level 50 and do these special trials, and then you reincarnate into one of the special races. I think there's like close to 20 races to begin with you can choose. And all the races have different attributes, which I think is common to most MUDs. But then there's like the skill system. You level up the skills, kind of like the Elder Scrolls, like Morrowind, Skyrim, where you level them up by using them. But all the skills, they scale with your stats. So like two-handed would scale mostly with strength. Some would be like secondary, like dodge would be scale. The primary scale and stat was agility, and then wisdom would be the secondary scale and skip stat for dodge. All this is like, I guess you had to like figure out on your own, or ask like some admin or something, someone who's running the game. Like someone I remember mentioned to me about how the different stats worked, and there's these items you could equip that like raise your stats. So like I'd like equip and unequip the different items just to test which stats scale with what. So I think like maybe either as axe or mace, like they're scaled primarily with strength and then secondary with constitution. I don't know, that like just was really interesting. And then also like the class system was interesting. You choose a main class and then you choose a subclass. Now the subclasses were, each class only had a specific number of subclasses. Some subclasses could be played with multiple classes. So assassin, you could do either warrior, rogue, or necromancer. And necromancer assassin, that was like, is the first character that I played as a female character. Like I said, I was transgender, but I was kind of, I don't know, I guess in the closet, or I knew I was transgender, but I made it afraid to play a female character, I don't know. But once I like understand how the game worked, I had this idea for like a dark elf assassin. The interesting thing about necromancer assassin, so assassin gets a skill called martial arts, which boosts your hand-to-hand damage, and necromancers get this spell called Shatter Bones, which increases your blunt damage to targets to use the Shatter Bones on. So there's like this synergy between the necromancer and the assassin. Even around the weapon, you could scale the damage a lot. There's like these special weapons, I think they're called limited. You had to be PvP enabled if you could use limited weapons. So like there was a bigger range of strength if you had to rely on a weapon. But necromancers, one, they had the shatter bones, which boosts a hand-to-hand. They also had like some skills that let you absorb health and life from when you attack with hand-to-hand. There's also these skills where if you can absorb health and life from the corpses you kill, from the enemies you kill. And I thought that was kind of interesting, like, not even from like really a role play, but just from a gameplay. I like being able to like, I guess, salvage different things and lifesteal. I've always liked lifesteal in games. And like that character I named Lotus. My first character in all the RPGs I play is Lotus. That's why I name her. So yeah, I played that a while, and like that was like kind of a lot of the ways like a bad period of my life. I was like just, like I said, I was dealing with chronic illness, and I also had like depression, and like I was like using drugs like weed and also like Ritalin and ADD medication, which is a stimulant. I'd like take that and like I'd stay up all night playing the mud. There's like really degenerate. Yeah, like after that, like I stopped playing MUDs, and I don't know exactly why I stopped. It was like probably a combination, like one, like just it just like enabled like really degenerate behavior. Like in the beginning you level up really quickly, and then later on it takes forever, and you have to like get into groups to level up quickly. It becomes like a huge grind. And I guess like regular MMOs are like that too, to a certain extent. I don't know. I don't know, like the newer ones are as bad. I don't play them, so I don't really know. I think a lot of people like the newer ones, they like get to end game, and there's like end game activities, which these like you can't like get to max level, but like a lot of people just reincarnate when they get to max level. Like I said, before the special races. Yeah, back in the mid 2000s, I went back to college, and I got like back involved with my old fraternity from college, and there are these two guys, they were friends. I guess they were playing World of Warcraft, which is the first time I heard of it. And maybe if I was like closer friends with them, like I would have like tried it out. But I think like just my experience with the MUDs like made me not want to do it. Just like, even though like I have like good memories and like they've kind of shaped how I view RPGs today, it also just like, the most recent one, I like had to deal with like bullying and stuff like that. So it wasn't like common, but it was just like another thing on top of everything else. Okay, so I just finished recording the gameplay, and it ended up taking like over an hour. So I don't know like how long it's gonna take for me to edit that. I kind of came to the conclusion towards the end of the recording that like, even though I've played like hundreds of hours of these MUDs, like it was over 20 years ago, and like trying to relearn all this stuff is pretty rough. I would be like interested in doing more, like if people wanted me to, but it was like getting adjusted to it. I used to read like fantasy novels and stuff like that when I was younger, but now like even like games that have text without voice dialogue or anything, like I just have a hard time getting into it. There's this new game made by a developer. I really like their other game. It's kind of like it's a turn-based RPG. It's kind of focused more on stories. So there's like a lot of dialogue, but it's an indie developer, so I can't really afford to hire voice actors. I hope he like tries to do like some sort of text-to-speech, because that's like a lot better now than it was just a few years ago. But I'm gonna like had a hard time getting into that game because I just can't like read. I just can't read. So like, and like the gameplay itself was pretty good. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, and let me know in the comments if you want to see that other video about where I do the gameplay, because like I said, it's gonna take a long time to edit, so I don't know if how much I'm gonna upload or what I'm gonna do with that. But yeah, just leave a like and let me know what you think in the comments. What were your experiences like playing MMOs? Do you ever play MUDs? Do you want to play MUDs? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.